Some of the content of Patriots Unfiltered may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
The world's original podcast.
This is Patriots Unfiltered.
Presented by Toyota's official website for deals, buyatoyota.com.
Joint that we've got going here at Gillette Stadium. All right, welcome to Patriots Unfiltered, a special edition high above the practice fields here at Gillette Stadium. This is a special joint broadcast, and what I mean by that, the Washington Commanders are in town for a joint practice with the New England Patriots. We'll be here for the first four periods to cover everything that we're allowed to show you. And then after practice, Deuce and Paul will be around to wrap up everything that they saw today. This is a big day for, both teams, but we only care about one of them. A good measuring stick for the Patriots to see where they are against, players that they haven't seen yet. Guys, what are you looking at?
Pretty much everything. But
Yeah.
I totally agree with you about the importance of seeing what it looks like against another team and, another set of personnel, set of schemes, coaching styles, and whatnot. So I think there's a lot to watch. For me, it starts and ends with Drake May. As you know, I'm always quarterback-centric, but I feel like the offense has shown some signs of being improved this summer, but we haven't seen it on a consistent basis. So I do still have a little PTSD to that joint practice that we had last year against Philadelphia. I want to make sure it's a hell of a lot better than that.
I've said this before. I hope somebody put that tape in for Mike Vrabel because obviously he wasn't here last year. He needs to see that.
Yeah.
And somebody, whether it's Robert Kraft or
just ask Milton Williams.
This can't happen again. Yeah, Milton Williams. This can't happen again because, sometimes you learn from mistakes and last year was terrible. So we don't want to see a repeat of that.
No, I just echo what Paul had to say. I think for me today it's really about Drake May and the competitive period. Probably the very last period they're going to do today. It's going to be red zone, live, 11 on 11. Those are the periods over the last couple practices that, we've seen the offense sputter a little bit. They look good early on, 7 on 7, when they're putting stuff in, when it's not quite so competitive. But the more competitive it's got, the more the defense has dominated these practices at the end. So to me today, it's all going to be a build-up to that final drill to see if Drake can maybe deliver and help that offense get in the end zone and start inspiring some confidence in his teammates that he's going to be the kind of guy when the game's on the line that he can lead the team down the field and get critical points.
Absolutely.
Yeah, go offensive line. I think that's the biggest thing right now with this team. Paul, you brought up last year's joint practice with the Eagles, and that was the most glaring issue out of that practice was just how overmatched the Patriots' offensive line was against that Philly front. This Washington defense doesn't quite have the horses. There's no Jalen Carter and, Nolan Smith and those guys in Philly that not quite at that level, but still you got those two rookies on the line that you're expecting to see a lot of today, Will Campbell and Jared Wilson. And how do those guys look? How do they hold up? To get to Deuce's part of Drake being able to succeed in those big moments, he's got to be protected. They got to keep the quarterback upright. And then I think he's going to be able to do his thing. But until they can protect for him consistently, they're going to have issues offensively. So that's where I'm looking.
Do we have a participation report from the Commanders? Who's in, who's out? Jaden Daniels is playing. He'll be out there today. Terry McLaurin, what's the deal with him?
No, it sounds like Terry McLaurin's in a hold-in. Unless,
I don't think you'll see him.
Yeah, unless the person just walking up the ramps was Terry McLaurin. I did see a jersey, but I don't think that was him. Unfortunate, though. I mean, when we first saw these practices come in, I thought to myself, wow, Terry McLaurin versus Christian Gonzalez, maybe no such luck today, but still plenty to look at in those one-on-one periods.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything, Fred. I haven't, spent much time doing the Washington prep work. For me, it's more about what the Patriots are doing, and I think, to Evan focusing on the offensive line, I don't really care who's rushing the passer. I want to make sure that they're, at least doing a better job of protecting Drake May than they did last year, and it should be better because Evan's right. They don't have a Jalen Carter or a Jordan Davis and all of those, Josh Sweats and the guy, and Milton Williams even.
Right.
We talked to him in the offseason. He brought up that joint practice and all those pass rush problems that the Patriots had. So it should be better. I like the idea of the two rookies for the reason that you talked about on Patriots Unfiltered yesterday. get those two rookies out there, let them start, and let them learn through their mistakes and go through the peaks and valleys, and you should be better off in the long run.
Right, throw them into the fire, see what happens. It's the same attitude I had last year with Drake May. It's like, let him make mistakes.
Yeah.
Let him know what he's good at. Let him know what he's going to have to work on. And the only way you can do that is to just, take the shackles off and
Sure.
let him
Well,
let
you
him
talk
play.
about taking the shackles off, Fred. I want to see Jaden Daniels today. I mean, what an outstanding rookie year from him. Is he ready to take that second-year leap? Not as easy without Terry McLaurin around here, but, such an outstanding season from him last year. A lot of this stuff we're talking about with Drake is, what Jaden Daniels did as a rookie. Look at that playoff run that he had, delivering in the clutch, getting them in position to win big games. So, curious what he looks like in year 2. Is he maybe added a little weight? Is he still, how much are they still trying to run him, at least in this camp? Is that going to be part of what their plan is? I remember, Paul, a couple years ago we saw the Giants come here, and it felt like the only thing the Giants could do was run Daniel Jones. That was their one play. That looked pretty good. Otherwise, it was a struggle. But I'm sure it'll look different from the Commanders today, and just exciting young player that's certainly on the rise for the NFL.
All right, so around 10 o'clock, Mike Vrabel will have his press conference before practice, and I'm wondering if any of the scribes will ask him if he's talked to Dan Quinn and sort of choreographed maybe some of these sessions so they can get certain looks that they want to see.
I mean, looking at the schedule, it seems pretty straightforward of, what you want to accomplish in terms of 7-on-7. You want to do some middle of the field stuff, early down work. You want to get a bunch of situations on third down, which you can't control in the preseason game. You don't know what opportunities are going to arise when a game's unfolding organically. This gives you an opportunity to say, hey, we want to get a bunch of reps at this specific situation that maybe hasn't looked that good, or really that you want to drill down on. So I'm sure they'll walk through all those different things, but I would expect, middle of the field, some early down work. You're going to get in the red zone a little bit, and then that final competitive period.
And not just like, reps of scenarios in situations, but also individuals.
Yeah.
Hey, can you send so-and-so up against Will Campbell? Like, no, I'm serious. Why not?
Yeah. It's a little insider info. We want to test these guys on things.
Yeah.
I don't know how close Vrabel and Quinn are. I mean, I know next week you have Kevin O'Connell, so you have a little bit of overlap there with those coaching staff. So, yeah, we'll see what they put together. But I think generally all these that I've seen are generally the same. You want to get competitive periods. You want to get team periods. A little 7-on-7 in the red zone, but otherwise it's all about 11s.
Have you ever met Dan Quinn to let him know I'm the guy with the 28?
Well, we saw him in the airport last year.
What?
We saw him in the airport in Indy.
We met Dan Quinn in the airport in Indianapolis one year. And
we saw the hat.
And I were sitting there eating lunch, and we saw a guy walk in with the backwards hat on, and we were both like, no, and sure enough, it was Dan Quinn. But between Dan Quinn and Cliff Kingsbury, I would assume that Mike Vrabel has some connections with the coaching staff here in Washington, and I would think that he overlapped with Kingsbury for a short period of time at least when Kingsbury was a player here as well. So you have a connection there too. So I'm sure these staffs know each other pretty well.
Okay, you can see players arriving. Can we turn this monitor on? Travion Henderson is on the screen.
I think there's a chance that he could be a much bigger part of the offense in terms of a big play threat than maybe some people realize. I still think he's more of a pass catcher, but just watching some of the things that Josh McDaniels has had him do, I think he maybe once or twice every practice he tries to get him downfield on some kind of a wheel route or something of that nature, and I think he's going to be a big matchup problem for virtually any linebacker that's going to try to run with him. I just don't think you're going to be able to do it, and I think they're going to take some shots with him. I don't know where else you get the big plays out of this offense. I don't think they have a traditional downfield guy, so sometimes you have to be a little creative, and I think Henderson could be a way that McDaniels can be creative.
Yeah, I mean, we talked
100%.
about that yesterday, and Paul, you even agreed that this year compared to last year, Drake May should have more weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On paper.
On paper. It all needs to play out.
There's two talented guys that weren't here last year, and Henderson and Diggs.
Yeah, Henderson's their most explosive weapon that we've seen so far.
All right, we've got Mike Vrabel coming up to the podium, so let's go to him. I see him glad-handing. Oh, he's gonna take a few minutes. He's talking to somebody right now, so let's hold off
It's Dan Quinn is there right now talking to the
Oh, is that who's he talking to?
Dan Quinn is talking to the media right now.
Oh.
Yeah.
So we
Oh,
got
I
some
see.
time.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
I see the backwards hat.
So they're staggering that.
He was going first, yeah.
All right, so
He's
one
got the
podium,
hat backwards, Fred.
one
You
podium
like
for
that.
all of them. Yeah. What?
He's got Dan Quinn. He's got the hat backwards. You
Right.
like that.
Right.
Alex actually likes it, right? Alex likes the hat backwards.
Yeah. Oh, to be a ruling on that with the fitted hat backwards, though, I don't know if that might
The
might
fitted
alter
hat
it.
backwards,
Yeah.
is that
I think she might like the
different?
the snapback.
The
backwards.
snapback.
It's a difference.
No one likes the snapback.
The flat brim snapback is what's in right now, Paul. That's what all the kids are wearing these days.
Yeah. Not a big fan.
All right. So as we wait for Vrabel, like I said, it'll be interesting to see if our peers down in the media, ask him about the details of the practice, and then how open he'll be about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing I've noticed about Vrabel is he kind of wants to just get it out there instead of making you waste time trying to figure out what's going on with that practice the other night. He laid it all out. So maybe you'll get more of that today. I found when you know those things, it's a lot nicer. You're not spending so much time deciphering what's coming up next. You kind of know, and you can just focus on the competitive periods. So, I think it's going to be a good day for both teams, and see a lot of young, exciting players out here.
Yep. Let's see what's going on.
It looks
But
like
you seem like you were a little surprised, Fred, that I felt like they had a couple more weapons.
Well, you're very particular about your definition of what a weapon is. It seems to me like
Guys with
anything lower
talents
than
can be
Jamar
weapons.
Chase isn't a weapon.
Jamar Chase is not a weapon?
No, I said anything lower
Oh.
than Jamar Chase in your eyes isn't really a weapon.
No. I would
fair.
say there's a difference between just having a bunch of guys
Yeah,
and having Stephon Diggs.
yeah. Well,
I mean, I'm a little crazy like that.
no, I hear, and that's
kinda
why,
tend
That
to-
is crazy.
and that's
Paul.
why
I go to the talent.
right. No, and that's
for
why
me.
I wanted to, talk to you about that, because you can also use weapon in a way like, okay, who are my weapons on this team? Oh, it's this. Well, they're not very good. They're weapons,
Yeah.
but they're not very good. Like,
Right.
so,
And that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying by he's not a weapon. Like,
Right.
yeah, you have guys that are wide receivers, but there's
Right.
a difference between just having a wide receiver and having Jamar Chase
right,
or Justin Jefferson.
He's an
your
elite
favorite
weapon.
guy.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
The guy you developed and
We're
discovered.
not
Right.
quite on that level yet, but I am interested with Travion Henderson because, just statistically, running backs, their targets usually go for less yards because they're targeted closer to the line of scrimmage. Like their average depth of target is
Right.
not as high as like a wide receiver would be down
Right.
the field. So if your running back is your most explosive player on your offense, how do you then manufacture big plays down the field?
Right.
Coming out of the backfield, wheel routes, seams, getting him into the seams, flexing him out wide. There's a million ways to do it, I suppose, but
yeah, so we've got,
Inherently.
you can see Dan Quinn and Mike Vrabel right now talking about what would seem like, here's what's going to happen in practice. Vrabel has a sheet that he's pointing to and going over it with Dan Quinn. So they're doing exactly what we just talked about.
Yeah. Well, I was reminiscing with Paul because, of course, Jonathan Jones and Dietrich Wise are now on the Commanders. So Dietrich Wise among the memorable performances in a couple joint practices ago in the middle of a couple scrums. But love those guys. They were, you heard yesterday some of the defensive players talking about what those guys meant to them as leaders around here. So they've moved on. They're trying to help a team like the Commanders get over the hump. But good to see a couple old Patriots who, contributed to a couple championships, both those guys.
All right. Yeah. So this is interesting. They're talking at length about what would seem like, here's what I want to do. What do you want to do? So
Yeah,
good
there goes
stuff.
Braves.
I don't think we've ever. All right. So here comes Mike to the podium right now.
Joint practice, is there anything you're looking for outside of what you typically look for in a regular practice, or what's the game, what's the goal for you?
Well, the goal is just to be able to put the identity out on the field against another team, to put the fundamentals that we've put out there, the installation, to be able to do it against another defense, to be able to adjust to different play styles of players that maybe are, maybe are longer or quicker or, stronger, just the different play styles of each player throughout this league. Work with a team that we have a lot of respect for, a team that was very good and and played their best football late in the season, which is why they had an opportunity late in the season in the tournament. A lot of respect for DQ and his coaching staff, so it just is a good fit.
Mike, how do you use today and Friday to get what you want to see?
How do I use what? I'm sorry.
Today and Friday, the game and joint practice.
Yeah, the game is an extension of practice. The first preseason game is, we're gonna play. We're practice today. We got some situations, and then tomorrow we'll be the day before. But Friday will be an extension of a work. It'll be a game, and it'll give us an opportunity to go out there. But still, just looking at it as a practice opportunity to continue to work and get guys the reps that we think that they're going to need for the season.
Mike, what's the game plan for the starters, specifically Drake, come Friday night?
Again, focused on today, and they'll get a lot of reps today, different situations. And again, I would say most everybody that's healthy should expect to play in the game. How long they'll play, I don't know, but we have to prepare to play in football games and prepare to win football games. So that's the mentality that we're going to take.
Mike, what have you learned about Travion so far? A dozen or so practices.
I mean, he seems to be a quick learner, and if there's something that happens in protection, he rarely makes the same mistake twice. He's a great teammate. You see him playing with effort when he doesn't have the ball in his hand, and he's been able to do some things in the run game, and learns quickly to be able to move him around in different positions offensively.
Like with Morgan Moses, you didn't see him out there yesterday, kind of left practice earlier the day before. Is that easing him back in still, or is that something new he's dealing with?
Probably a combination of both, and just want to be smart and make sure that everybody's plan is the best one for them to be prepared for the season. So Morgan will do a little bit today, he won't do much, and then we'll see where he is at the next opportunity, which would be Friday.
You mentioned the respect for DQ. He did it last year, first year with a team. What's the biggest challenge for a coach in his first season with a team?
Just putting a lot of different people together, figuring out who the core players are, the ones that you want to bring in, the coaching staff, the organizationally, the support staffs, to get it to where you want it and you feel comfortable about it. And that's what he did. He did an excellent job of, and we're hoping to do the same thing.
Mike, I've heard some NFL coaches say that they get more out of joint practices than they do in the preseason games. What's your thought process on that?
I think that they're important. I think that, they may not be live, but I think that there's still great tempo, there's great speed, the competitiveness. But the games are important. The games to go out there and operate and see the penalties and the speed of it and the timing of it, the time with the 2-minute and all those different things, and the tackling and being able to get guys to the ground, being able to break tackles, playing cut blocks and all those things that we don't see in practice.
Mike, you guys, obviously your defense gets to see Drake May on a daily basis in practice, but what kind of maybe different challenge does Jaden Daniels pose? Well,
again, we'll have to see what they call and what Cliff calls and what they run, but he's talented, makes great decisions, but also very fast, and while he scrambles and he can run with the football, rarely takes a big hit, which is very impressive for any player, especially a quarterback. And he's not the biggest guy, but you just don't see him taking too many hits when he runs.
We've seen Marcus Bryant get some increased reps with those starters the last couple of years. What have you seen from the 7th-round pick this offseason?
Marcus has gotten better. He's trying to compete at left tackle and right tackle, and when somebody goes down or they're not available, we just put the next guy in there, and then we evaluate him. And if he earns the opportunity to stay there, he stays there. And Marcus has done that. I think he's gotten better each and every day. Played the left, switched over, and played on the right, and did a nice job the other day at the end of practice.
Coach, what's into the consideration that having just one joint practice instead of 2?
Because Washington only wanted to come up for one day.
Mike, any word to the players about fights and stuff like that out here?
We want to practice the same way we practice against our team, and that's by playing physical and aggressive and not doing stuff that hurts the team. And certainly don't expect any of that, and if it does, we'll have to handle it accordingly. And you have to be able to play competitively and physically without letting your emotions get the best of you.
Any plans for live tackling today or anything like that?
No.
Mike, when it comes to just to kind of follow up on the Jaden Daniels question, heard your defensive line guys talk about being aggressive and getting off the ball fast. Do you have to, against a more athletic quarterback, temper that for some guys?
No, I mean, again, you just have to be coordinated. You have to be relentless and coordinated in your rush, and based on some calls, and you're not going to be, there's going to be some scrambles today that we need to coach off of and see. So that'll be a good thing. And we haven't talked too much about it. We're going to go and practice, and then I think the best thing will be to be able to correct it and show it and figure out what we need to do if we were going into a game.
Like, what amount of preparation did you put in with the players to familiarize themselves with?
Just a little bit. Just a little bit, just enough for maybe they've shown some things that we haven't done on either side of the football, and making sure that they're prepared for some of that if they choose to run the quarterback in the red zone or whenever they want to do it, or some of their plays that we maybe haven't seen, and then defensively some of the looks that we may or may not get that we haven't gotten from our defense. So want to try to give the players the best opportunity to come out here and be evaluated, and so that they feel comfortable and they feel like they've maybe seen something, and if they haven't, then we have to adjust to it pretty quickly.
You were a teammate of Cliff Kingsbury for a relatively short period of time. What, if anything, do you remember about him as a player?
He wasn't better than Tom Brady. Cliff's a good friend. There's a handful of coaches over there that I've played with in the league, whether that's a year or, in Larry's case, 8 years. So they got a good staff. They've got a good mix of guys that played in this league and other guys that didn't. But that's a good coaching staff that they have. And Cliff's really done a nice job everywhere he's been offensively.
When you and Dan got together talking about this practice, are there situations where he'll say to you, Mike, at this point, we want to see something that you'll set something up that he wants to see his team against, and vice versa? Yeah, we talk. I mean, the scheme is, we don't get into the scheme so much as more situationally, what do we want to see as it relates to first, second, third and long. Maybe we're going to be in a no huddle period, or, how do you want to operate, or we'll be on the ball. Let's get some red zone in. Let's get some red zone 7-on-7. The quarterback can look to his first read. Got to get the ball out, or probably extend the play, which is realistic in pro football in the red zone.
Like the guys that, their ticket to make the roster be on special teams. You just mentioned Larry Izzo. Are there Larry Izzo qualities that you look for when you're looking at special teams guys?
Well, a passion for playing football, a competitive spirit, production, I think would be the biggest thing. Understanding speed and space and blocking angles, and it's a skill and it's an art, and certainly Larry did it as well as anybody. So I would say that the competitive spirit would probably be at the top of the list if you're looking for adjectives to describe Larry. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, that was Mike Vrabel, and he addressed the media. And like we thought, there was the question about, are you going to, talk with Dan Quinn and come up with certain scenarios? And
yeah,
and so good. I mean, we actually saw it. I don't know if that's the first time they talked about practice, but certainly they were going over things that they were expecting to see out in the field before practice.
Yeah. Also, Dan Quinn said Terry McLaurin did not make the trip, for anyone who was interested. Not that we expected to see him practice anyway. And also Mike Vrabel has said no live tackling today. So just something to note.
Yeah, I would expect that.
Thud.
I mean,
It'll be thudding.
We've seen a lot of joint practices. We've never seen bringing people to the ground.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
fights. But.
Not that they wanted.
Not intentionally.
Right.
As you can see, Drake May is warming up out on the field.
I just thought it was interesting, too, that Vrabel kind of mentioned how Washington peaked at the end last year, to help get them into the playoffs and make a little bit of a run there. And that's something I think he's very aware of. I mean, I know, yesterday Greg Bedard said he thought it was one of the lightest training camps he's ever seen. Maybe that's connected to Vrabel's philosophy of managing some of these guys. We've seen extensive plans with that. We talked about Morgan Moses' plan. So I think we're just getting to know Mike Vrabel as a coach now, and a little bit of the ins and outs, what he believes, especially here in training camp.
Yeah. So as we wait to get, some of the drills going. I will say the place is packed.
There's a lot of people there. Yeah. There's a lot of people coming up the ramps, to our right, and it's typical for a joint practice. I mean, the weather is really conducive for it. It's not oppressively hot. It's a nice day, not a really hot day. And I'm looking at the stands behind you, Freddie. They look like they're pretty packed in. The hill looks like it's pretty packed in. So
and we see a steady stream of people coming up the ramps.
Coming up the ramps.
So I don't know, 30, 40,000, Paul?
Maybe. maybe 35. Let's call it 35,000.
Okay.
Conservatively.
Right. Okay. Yeah. No, I mean, listen, it's a Wednesday. It's a beautiful day, a little overcast, but it's perfect for football practice. So why not? It's free. Bring the kids. Find a place.
It's a great time.
If you're going to go to one day, we've been saying since the spring, this is the day that you would pick.
Right.
The joint practice day. So there'll be a lot of different things to keep an eye on. Like we talked about one-on-ones and what that might mean for linemen and for receivers and backs. And then we talk about 7-on-7 in the red zone. You just heard Mike Vrabel talk about that a little bit and, how it, quickens up the pace, the clock for the quarterback. You almost always have to move, down in the red zone when you're doing even 7-on-7. So, to see some of those things, see some of the reactions, there should be a lot to watch.
Absolutely. And I think, so after this, obviously, there'll probably be a walkthrough tomorrow, but it won't be open to the public. And then we have the preseason game on Friday. Players will be off on Saturday, as they typically are after a game. There'll be a public practice on Sunday. So is that your last opportunity if you want to come down and watch a practice?
Yes.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes,
So that's it, Sunday. This went fast, huh?
It did.
It came fast and it went fast.
Yeah, there'll be a few more practices open to the media.
For us, but I'm talking about the public. Yeah, that's it.
But we'll be out here until the end of preseason week number 3.
Yeah.
So we'll have a few more for you that we can talk about and tell you what's going on. But Sunday's the last chance for the public.
So the Patriots will be in blue today.
Yeah. Yep. All blue for the Patriots.
You see
not just the defense.
Yep. You see Pop Douglas and Mac Hollins and some of the other wide receivers kind of warming up in their blues. It's kind of weird because they've been in white every day.
Yeah.
And the defense is in blue, but now we're one team. We're back to one team.
We're all one.
Yeah. Patriots United.
Yeah.
We are all Patriots. And so
let's get them all out there. They're all 4-1.
They're going to be wearing their blues.
Well, big day for this guy right here, Pop Douglas, who's had a really good camp.
Showing off his arm.
Showing off his arm a little bit. Well, he tried to show it off in
stadium
practice.
Didn't go with that.
We
can can that one, I think.
He probably should have ate that one or threw it out of bounds. But the other guy I want to talk about right next to him though is Mac Hollins, which no, I'm not going to talk about his hanging shirt, Paul. Don't worry. But I do want to say, when we were out in Vegas, and I brought it up a couple times, I was enamored with Devontae Adams, and him and Hunter Renfrow were obviously the engines of that offense. But I just was impressed with seeing Mac Hollins on the field, and I remember, just watching him a little bit and saying, man, he seems like a really good complement to these two other guys. Going and looking, I mean, he's kind of bounced around the league. Even at that point, he kind of bounced around the league. But I think everybody took note when he came back last week off of PUP that he was kind of right in the mix. And I continue to think that he is somebody that we're not really mentioning enough, that I think Josh McDaniels has a real plan for, both special teams and maybe some special spots on offense. But he's got some size. He's got some experience. Love the leadership that he brought. I think he's a real wild card in that room.
Yeah, I just wonder, where's the line of taking the reps from the younger guys? Because I can tell you right now, there's going to be a lot of people that if Mac Hollins is taking reps from Kyle Williams, they're not going to be happy about that. And whether it's Kyle Williams or Booty, or if they keep Javon Baker, those guys have more ceiling. They have more potential. So I agree with you that Mac Hollins, I think, is going to be here and have a role. But it depends on how you want to look at it, I suppose, and whether or not that's a good thing that he's going to be getting reps over Kyle Williams, I think, is probably the biggest one or not.
I mean, listen. When we talk about young guys getting reps, we talked about Will Campbell and Wilson. They're going to get reps over veterans, but they're better.
Yeah.
Okay? I would say the same thing for wide receiver if Kyle Williams right now is better than Mac Hollins. I don't think he is at this point. And we need to get this offense rolling. We need to, get it going early as much as possible. So in that case, I want the best wide receivers out there. I'm not worried about young guys getting reps and getting developed. I want guys that can function in this offense for Drake May to be able to execute.
Yeah, that's more than fair. I just know that that's not how a lot of fans are going to look at it from the outside looking in, because they want the potential and they want the upside of the younger players. And that's all I'm saying is I think that it's a hard sell to say that we're going to have a journeyman like Matt Collins play over the guy that we just drafted 69th overall and has some potential. That's all. And I just wonder where that line is. And I was also thinking about this as it relates to Kendrick Bourne too. Like, they're not exactly the same type of receiver, but if you already have the Matt Collins of, like, if Kyle Williams is not quite ready or if Kayshon Boutte's not taking that next step, you have the steady veteran that you can put in there. Do you really need two of those kinds of guys with Kendrick Bourne and Matt Collins, or like does Matt Collins' involvement allow you the freedom to keep a Chisholm, to keep a Baker, to keep a Polk as sort of a developmental player on the roster?
Yeah, it's so clear how much more Matt Collins would kind of do than Kendrick Bourne would overall on the roster, just in terms of special teams, in terms of being a little bit different within that wide receiver room. I think you make a great point, Ev. It's really just a question of, I don't know if Kyle Williams looks ready to jump in, and take a big role right out of the gate. So, you do have, I see it as, to start, you've got Boutte, who's had a strong camp, continues to contribute on the outside, stretches the field a little bit in Holland. So, you mix and match those guys a little bit, but absolutely, you got to give Kyle Williams every opportunity to work his way in. And, to, if he can bring an element of explosive downfield playmaking, which I think is a little bit limited, like Ev said, with Hollins and Boutte, then that could really take this offense to the next level.
No, I agree with that. I mean, everything being even, I always go for the younger guy, get them in there. But I don't think it's even right now.
No, and I mean, it's about, it's a long season too, and you want to make sure. I mean, the easiest comparison to make is to Javon Baker, who, I think Matt Collins he is what he is, but he's a picture of consistency in what he does. So, maybe that's an example of somebody like Javon Baker, where it might be a little bit more feast or famine, up and down, that he can find some of that steadiness that Matt Collins is trying to pass along to those younger guys.
Yeah, but having said what I just said, I still would love to see, whenever they can, get Kyle Williams in there. Get him some reps.
Sure.
I'm talking about during the regular season. So we're seeing Matt Collins and
I mean, he looks the part. I just looking at him, I'm like, this guy's a beast. I know he is what he is, but at the same time,
he was a nice player. I'm not trying to dump on Matt Collins. There's nothing against him whatsoever. I know how the mind of the fan works, and that they want to see the young guys. Yeah. They want to see the rookie. They want to see the second-year guys, Polk, Baker, Chisholm.
Yep.
Williams, but
you know what Matt Collins is. We don't know what Kyle Williams is.
Kyle Williams,
and Kyle Williams
may have
a bigger ceiling,
right.
And that's what people are going to be wondering about now. Based on 11 days of camp, I think it's been a little bit of a slow indoctrination for Kyle Williams. I think he's flashed a little bit. We've seen some big plays from him, but we've seen other periods of time where he's been just sort of out there and not really showing up as much. So I think there's some talent there. There's certainly a skill set that is intriguing, but we want to see it on a more consistent basis.
I think the biggest thing with him right now is the physicality at this level. Is he going to be able to get off press coverage? Is he going to be able to use his body to create separation at the first two levels of the defense? He can run by people on the outside. We've seen that already, but is he going to consistently be able to go out there and finish through contact and get off physical coverage that you're going to see at this level at his size and at his just the build that he has? I think is something that I've noticed. Like the other day, DJ James, like he ran a little comeback route, and DJ James is just all over it and broke up the pass. Like those types of things. You got to carve out space for yourself. You got to be able to get open at the top of the route. Like you have to figure out ways to use your body and your physicality to also win at this level along with your speed.
So are the Commanders on the lower field?
Yeah, they're warming. Yeah,
Commanders they're going to warm up separately.
Yeah, they're in the parking lot.
I kind of like when they do that. I like when they do that because then you kind of come together and it's like a moment.
Right. It's like enter Thunderdome.
West Side Story.
Yeah. Don't you remember in Green Bay?
I love that. That was my favorite one.
Oh my God. It was like you were entering the Coliseum.
Right. They're just waiting for you.
It was crazy. Yeah, it was insane.
You're not entertained?
Yeah.
Ev, a question for you. Did you feel like Williams could have done, maybe come back to the ball a little bit more on that final interception in stadium. I know we talked about Drake probably not throwing the ball with Alex Austin sitting on that route, but I kind of felt, too, part of it might have been Kyle Williams needing to come back to the ball tiny bit, maybe to compete for it at least.
Yeah, maybe come back for the ball or even just, like, sell the fade a little bit more to get him to have to bail out and bite on it, or even just, like, this is a minutia that I would never know if it was the case or not, but, like, is he running the right depth of the route?
Right.
You know, like
to get him off,
all these little things, like, I just wonder if he's clearly fast and he's clearly explosive and talented in that regard. I just, to play every single down in the NFL, you have to be on the P's and Q's at all times with all those little things, because if you're supposed to break off your route at 8 yards and you break it off at 10, that's a pick 6 going the other way. Like, that's how it works at this level.
Right. And it's easy to look at a play like that. We all watched it and we're like, man, you know, what is Drake May doing?
Man.
Yeah.
You know, he threw the ball right to Alex Austin. But you just brought up 5 different scenarios, Evan, that any one of which could have been a much more mitigating factor as to why that play happened. And none of them really had anything to do with Drake May. Now, doesn't mean he should have thrown the ball.
Right.
And doesn't mean it's a good play by the quarterback by any means. But it might have been a bad route. It might not have been at the right depth. It might have been not selling something
didn't Vrabel
well
say
enough.
he didn't want his quarterback throwing a flat-footed
corners?
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Which makes you think that it was probably more on the quarterback than it was on the receiver, but we would never know these little things because we're not in the playbook and we're not in the film rooms and in the practice meetings and all that kind of stuff. So I just wonder where that goes.
Sounds to me that Vrabel was putting it on both of them.
Yeah.
The receiver was flat-footed, and May should have not thrown it to.
The corner
was flat-footed.
Don't throw it to a flat-footed corner.
Right.
That means he's sitting on the route.
Right. So like,
okay.
you got to.
My bad.
Like maybe you just got to. He had to sell the route a little bit better. Like that's a coaching point for Kyle Williams.
Right.
We're talking about the receivers in the media tent down there saying that Stephon Diggs is not on the field.
I haven't
for
scratched
the
him off yet, but that doesn't mean he's not out there.
So I don't know if he's not going to be participating in this practice today or not, but as of right now, he is not out there, and practice has started, right? We're past that.
Well, that's disappointing.
Yes.
Definitely. But at the same time, looks like Carlton Davis is out here in pads. He's been mostly a walkthrough participant in camp, but maybe he's amping up the
that's a good development
participation a little bit.
But I am curious about Diggs.
Yeah, we got to keep him under wraps.
It's maybe that's what it is, Deuce.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the glass half full view on that, but
you don't get to see what we're doing with Diggs yet.
He's been out there for every practice so far. There's been no signs that anything with the knee or anything like that of any setbacks whatsoever. Yesterday was a walkthrough, and he was here.
Yeah.
So it's not like he did anything physical yesterday that would have knocked him off the field.
Well,
so
it might just be as simple as they don't want to subject him to any possibility of contact yet.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it could be a very simple thing.
I did catch a video of him yesterday walking out of Five Guys here in.
I did
Patriot
see that.
Place. So maybe he got himself a double burger and he's digesting it now.
Or maybe it's like, well, if you're not going to have McLaurin out there, then we're not going to have Diggs out there.
Right.
It's always funny when you see those videos, though, because it's like very clearly Patriot Place. And, like we all can recognize it right off. We're like, oh, yeah.
Stars, they're just like us.
Yeah.
He wants a giant trough of fries.
Yeah.
Trough.
Here you go, Stephon. Just take the whole fry later with you.
They do have good fries.
Oh,
They do,
They
Freddie. I agree.
Yeah.
Still like In-N-Out more. Still like In-N-Out.
Really?
Fries well done.
They're coming, I heard.
Yeah, we're moving slowly east.
Nashville area.
One of the more overrated experiences I've ever had.
Oh, that's a bad take.
Here we go.
It was fine.
Here we go.
It was just fine.
You didn't get it animal style,
You
Paul.
did.
That's the problem.
Bad take.
Yeah, the fans just keep piling in here.
I would say Five Guys falls into that category, too.
What? Just
one of the more overrated experiences I've ever had.
Well, you just have a high bar
what are you
for
looking
burgers,
for?
apparently.
You don't like
I'm
all you
looking
can
for
eat
people
fries?
to just talk about these places like, oh, yeah, it's a good burger, as opposed to telling me my life is going to change
I
when
know.
I have it.
I know everybody is like, why are we talking about burgers during this?
Because this is why.
But I'll say
watching.
this whenever, because Deuce and I both lived out in California, so we've had In-N-Out a ton. And I always say to everybody, it's a fast food burger.
Yeah.
Like, don't.
So if that was the way it was described to me initially, maybe I wouldn't feel the way I feel.
Because everybody does what Paul is saying, and I'm saying it's just better than McDonald's and all the other fast food burgers. It's not like it's like.
And I would agree with that. It is better.
Do we have any sponsors here that we have to worry about?
See who we can offend here.
Right.
I'll keep offending.
If you guys will allow me
Jersey
a quick 30-second story. I went with Paul last week for the first time to Red Robin, which Paul, he goes to Red Robin.
Paul loves his Red Robin
every Friday. And it was like I was walking into Cheers with Norm and Cliff Clavin. They're like, Paul! They walk in. The drinks are already put down. Everybody gets an appetizer fry. I've never seen that before. They're like, here you go, appetizer
fries. It's not appetizer fries.
And so
grow up.
And so they have their waiter, who's their guy, who hooks them up. I mean, and they didn't know what deal to use. I mean, I didn't realize there's celebrities.
Does he have
down
a
there.
seat?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yes, 100%.
Oh wow.
They were like, Deuce, don't go in first. We got to go first so we can, and everyone's like, hey, Norm. That's exactly what it felt like.
Oh, that's funny. That is
Which
funny.
I guess
Fridays with finance.
I knew he went there every Friday forever. I just didn't realize the extent that the welcoming community of Red Robin were huge fans of Paul and.
Should I continue
his team?
Red Robin, also overrated.
It was a pretty good burger.
You're just killing you're killing all the sponsors.
So is there any place that you've been to, Paul, that said, wow, this really lived up to the hype?
Rated.
Burger.
Rated.
Really lived up to the hype? That's a good question, Fred. I'm gonna have to give that some
Okay.
thought. I don't want to just flippantly come up with something.
Sure. Okay.
I will
All
say
right. You think about that.
the spring rolls at Davio's I had heard about.
Oh,
the cheesesteak?
Yeah.
Those are good.
And they lived up to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a very, very specific answer to that, but
So we got the owner walking on the field with a special guest, I believe.
Who we got?
It might be our house.
Oh, John Bon Jovi.
There you go.
Oh, really?
Let's go.
Maybe we can get eyes on that, whoever's operating camera.
Yeah, they're walking right out of the tunnel right now.
I heard we're halfway there
Oh,
for training camp.
right. Well,
Yep.
yeah.
I got more.
I
got more.
I got a lot of more.
yeah. Wanted Dead or Alive.
Yeah.
Blood on Blood. I mean, I celebrate his whole catalog, to be honest.
You're the one. you and my wife.
Those are my
Killing
first two
everybody.
CDs I ever bought. Were Slippery When Wet in New Jersey.
I know it's sacrilegious around here, but I was never a big.
No.
Yeah, I mean,
me.
good songs.
The songs are fine.
You know the songs, but more kind of a chick band.
My wife loves them.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing wrong with that, though.
When they played, they did "I'll Be There for You" as our 7th grade dance theme song, and that just, that memories, taking me back.
Deuce has a very specific example of his childhood for everything.
There we are.
For everything.
Stuff like dancing with your 7th grade, not your girlfriend, just your friend that you went with.
I'll tell you, he's like 70 years old.
He looks great.
He looks great. So.
Johnny.
There you go.
I'll have to see if I can get one of those creep pics for Beth later. So she'll be like, I got your boy was here today. Here you go.
Yeah.
I do like "Living on a Prayer" is a really good stadium song.
Oh, yeah.
Like you get
Sure.
the crowd
Good
sing
songs.
along.
They are good songs.
Especially when
Yeah.
he's here in the suite and you can show him
Oh,
singing
yeah.
along with the fans.
Well, which playoff run was that? They all blend together. There's so many of them.
Right.
I've taught you well.
Yeah,
That's exactly how you do
but
that.
there was one playoff run I remember in particular where I think it was a divisional round game, and they were creaming whoever they were playing, and it was like we're halfway there, like to the Super Bowl.
Probably the Colts.
I don't remember which one it was.
LeGarrette Blount
But
running for 1,000
I do remember
miles.
that. Him in the owner's
LeGarrette.
box singing it.
Yeah. Is that how you say it? Blount?
Blount.
I'm still learning.
All right, so that's that. Let's. We've seen them. We can probably go back to watching players now.
I think I see Donnie Amendola down there, Diana Rossini. There's a cast of thousands of stars down
Maybe Danny Amendola and Efton Chisholm might have a little conversation later.
there. Spider-Man meme?
That is the receiver that Josh McDaniels made a cut up for Efton Chisholm to watch was not Edelman. It wasn't Welker. It was actually Danny Amendola. So it seems like there's a comp there for Josh. Like that. That's the one that he sees the most.
Evan's going to will this into existence.
Just for Paul. Like I want him to make the team, and I want him to be good, just so that
I want him to be good too.
No,
makes the team.
No, don't do that whole thing.
I just don't want to see what I've seen for 11 days and have him make the team.
The drop in the in-stadium practice
There he
was
is.
tough.
There's
That was tough
Amendola
for
on the
her.
right.
He's looking good. He's got the cut-off thing. He's very fashionable. I guess that's probably a look now.
Hi. Hi, Danny.
He's got the, what do you call those types of glasses? Crystal glasses? I don't know.
I thought you were going to say like a Baja, like one of those things they wear, you know, the Bajas.
Cardo.
But, you know, the thing about guys like Edelman and Amendola, it's yes, technically they were so sound, but they were also clutch. Yeah. Like the moment didn't scare them. In fact, they almost got better in the big moments. And I don't know if you can teach that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can teach that, but
that led to Rob Gronkowski, you know, with the great nickname that he came up with, Playoff Danny.
Playoff Danny.
Playoff Dola.
Very imaginative.
You know, and it's not about the amount of catches that they have.
Yeah,
it's when they make the catches.
Amendola was the epitome of that guy.
Yeah.
He didn't have a lot of volume, but every time he made a catch, it was important.
Right, because I was going to say, like, Edelman was kind of both.
Yeah.
Like, he had the volume. That's why
both.
he's going into the Patriots Hall of Fame. Amendola was like the clutches, like the catch against the Jaguars in the AFC Championship game. Always
such an underrated catch.
Yeah, it always stands out to me. Yeah,
we were the Patriots were rolling, and the Jaguars are giving them everything they could give them on that day. They came really close to losing that game.
He caught the touchdown and the fourth down catch too, right?
Someone argued he should have won the game.
Stop. He caught the fourth down catch too, right, Paul? It was like 4th and 12. They had to convert it near the middle of the field. I think Amendola in cut over the middle of the field, I think, was what moved the chains.
Is that when your memories?
Vaguely remember. No,
I
remember
the one.
The one in the end zone.
The end zone one is
that was special. Like the game-winning touchdown was just unbelievable.
And Gronk is another guy that the moment didn't scare him. You know, his abilities were so good that it gave him the confidence in any moment to just execute.
Do you give that credit? And I mean, I know we give Tom Brady a lot of credit, but do you give some of that credit to Tom Brady? Just you have that belief in him, and therefore you don't doubt. You know, if there's 3 seconds left on the clock and you're within striking distance, that you've got a chance. And
it puts you on alert because they know. In a big moment, if I'm open, if I run my route and I do what I'm supposed to do, the ball's coming to me. And so expect it.
Yeah, and then that's why I tie it to what I said about Drake at the top of the show. Like, start to inspire that confidence in your guys a little bit today. I mean, it's a joint practice. He's not going to change the trajectory of his career with a great, last drill today. But I just think that's a cumulative thing. And when he starts to make plays down the end in the competitive periods and guys start to believe, and then, you really start to pick up some momentum for the offense.
Getting back to the quarterback, that comes back to a lot of times where, throw the ball. Just get rid of it. Yeah. Even if it's not perfect, just play the play. Play the play through. And if it turns out to be a pick or the guy's not in the right place and the ball hits the ground, so what? Get used to running the play as it's written up, as it's drawn up.
That comes back to I think the biggest thing with those types of routes that those guys would run was the anticipation. And Brady just knowing how to read their body language, seeing the coverage the same way, those conversations year over year over year. If this corner does that, I'm going to throw it here. If he does this, I'm going to throw it there. The throw in Super Bowl 51 to Amendola, or is it Hogan on the sideline there?
One to each of them.
They got the cover 2 corner squatting, and Brady just throws it right on the inside shoulder, and he knew exactly where the ball was going. Like, those types of things are I've seen a little bit of that brewing with Drake and Pop Douglas. I think they're starting to find that sort of rhythm, but that takes years and years of repetition. That's not something that happens overnight or even in one training camp. That was Amendola, Edelman, Gronk playing with Brady for a decade that got them to that point.
Yeah. So we see Drake under the watchful eye of Josh McDaniels in the background.
I don't know how you guys feel, but I feel like Josh Dobbs has been a little bit better the last couple of practices that we've seen him.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought he was. I thought he struggled, quite frankly, in the first several practices that we saw. I thought there were a lot of throws into traffic.
Yeah.
And I think they've seen a little bit better execution.
In stadium.
Maybe, for him, you have to consider, the system too. Not a ton of familiarity there. So, maybe it did take him a little while. But I think he's been a little bit better the last couple of practices.
Was it you, Paul, that said, I think you like the style and just let it rip if you're going to be the backup, just get in there and
especially in practice, like Fred just said, get on your back foot and run a play. Try to have some kind of timing and rhythm to it. And, it's practice. There's supposed to be mistakes. There's supposed to be some rough patches, and he's a veteran. He's been around.
Perfectly capable backup.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are actually in the last period that we're allowed to show you. So we're going to be wrapping up soon. But before we go, I have a special guest. Just because you're watching this show, we're going to give you a little inside baseball, a little preview of what's going to happen during the season. And I don't know if we're ready here, Matt, but we have a new host for our pre- and post-game show. And her name is Claudia Bellafato. There she is. At the end of your Claudia, say hello.
Hi, everybody. What's going on? I told Fred I wasn't camera ready today, but he said, I don't care. You're
I threw a curveball.
Compared to us, you're camera ready.
Claudia,
I don't know if you know, but I'm always camera ready.
Paul, you don't know how badly I wanted my mic on when they were talking about Red Robin.
Oh, yeah.
Of all the places.
Careful.
I had a lot to say, but we have a full season.
Oh, I told you. You're very average.
Yeah, you're gonna have
close.
You're gonna have plenty of time.
You have a seat there. What are you talking about?
Only on Fridays.
As long as you're nice to Dunkin' Donuts, I think everything's fair game.
You don't want to get Kenny Keller on your case. He's going to come after you.
Right.
To me all the time.
I'll avoid it.
Yeah, so Claudia, you are going to be the host this year of our pre- and post-game show.
Yeah, very, very excited. Grew up, I'm a New England girl, so anybody out there like, who is this lady? I grew up in New England. I've been here for a few years working at the stations out here. Patriots have always and forever been my team, so very surreal. I remember one day I was at the gym and, I'm in between jobs and I see an email from Fred Kirsch and I'm like, hold on, that Fred? And he's like, hey, we need a host for the Patriots. I call my parents. I'm like, you'll never believe it. And of course, they're super thrilled. And yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun. I'm excited.
So tell the truth, your parents said, Fred who?
No, my dad's like, I know who that is.
Really?
The Kingmaker.
So he's the one.
The Kingmaker.
Not to blow smoke, Fred. Don't get too big of a head.
All right, so we got about a minute left. Give us your quick synopsis of what you're looking for this year with this team.
Yeah, there's no way we can do any worse. I think, we talk win totals. I think 8 wins makes a lot of sense for this team. You look at the East in general, I think the teams around them are much lesser, and we'll talk at length about Steph Diggs, but I think just having him there and look at the competition he had when it came to targets and with the Texans, and he still, I think, performed well there, and just more weapons. You guys can argue about what a weapon really is, but they have more.
I like that she picked up on that.
We have a real left tackle. We have a right tackle. The O-line in general should be better. We spent all that money on the defense, so I'm really excited about the Patriots in general. I think Drake May is great. I think this really is interesting to see with this first preseason game, him and the rookie of the year and Jaden Daniels. There's a big age gap, but same draft class, and yeah, I'm really excited to get started here on Friday. It's going to be a good season.
I'm glad you pointed out that age gap.
Yeah.
People are talking about that.
Jaden Daniels like 30. That might come up during the
better. Yeah.
Oh, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, I think Daniels has grandkids at this point. Right?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah. No, I mean, 5th year, and he did a lot of LSU in his 5th year, and I think that showed us what he was going to give us in the NFL, but he over-exceeded expectations. And so I don't know if it's totally fair to compare him and Drake May, but of course they're going to do that when you're in the same class.
All right.
And yeah, I'm excited.
Well, that's great. So that's going to be it for this practice. We're going to go down and watch the practice, and Deuce and Paul and Evan, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
you'll wrap up.
we'll have them on today.
Yeah, you'll wrap up everything you see in the training camp cast, which will come out later today. So, all the opinions and analysis, you'll still get that later today. But I just want to thank Claudia for joining us. Again, this is a little sneak peek at our new pre- and post-game host. We'll make an official announcement before the regular season, so, we'll blow all that out with Claudia. But, as a thank you for watching this, I thought maybe we'd give people a little inside information today.
Inside baseball.
Yeah, a little inside baseball. So for Claudia, Evan, Paul, myself, Deuce, everybody behind the scenes, I want to thank you for watching today. We're going to go get down to practice. Stay tuned on Patriots Social and Patriots.com for all the content that we're going to be putting out. And when's the next time we'll be talking to people?
Tomorrow.
Well, the pregame show, right?
Pregame show.
Well, I think Ev, you'll have tomorrow, right?
Catch
22.
Catch 22 tomorrow.
We'll have PU tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What am I saying?
I don't know.
I was confused. I was like, are we not doing PU?
I get mixed up. So we'll be back at noon tomorrow with PU. You're going to be what time tomorrow?
2 to 4 right after
2 to 4, Catch 22. And then we've got the pregame show on Friday, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And, of course,
just don't know what time.
Don't forget the Brady statue unveiling on Friday. That'll be streamed live at 6 o'clock on Patriots.com. All right, thanks everyone for watching. See you later.
Hey, this is Deuce. Thanks for tuning into the show. If you really want to help us, make sure you like us wherever you get your podcasts, like Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Also, make sure you follow us on the New England Patriots YouTube channel to see this show and everything else that we do here at the Patriots. Thanks a lot.